Today was a massive day for United States foreign policy because Donald Trump went in front of the United Nations General Assembly and told every country in the world, your country is going to hell. Meanwhile, he decided to make a complete 180 on his position towards Ukraine, finally admitting that no, he cannot solve the war in Ukraine and that no, Russia does not want an end to the war in the Ukraine. The morning began with Donald Trump speaking at the United Nations General Assembly, a gathering in New York where every single world leader from almost every single country around the globe comes to one room and listens to each other speak. And today, Donald Trump got on stage and lambasted other countries in the room for about 55 minutes. Mind you, he only had 15 minutes to speak. He was up there for over 50 minutes talking about everything from how he is upset about climate change and doesn't think climate change exists, to the fact that European countries are going to hell because they embrace trying to fix climate change and because of immigration-related issues. He talked about sending in the National Guard to Washington, D.C. He talked about how he has done more, essentially, than anyone else as president of the United States, and he has talked about the fact that he believes he deserves a Nobel Prize because he has solved 7 unsolvable wars. But one issue with that, there is one war that he hasn't solved yet. Really 2 wars, but one war he said he could solve in 24 hours, and that's Russia's invasion of Ukraine. On the campaign trail, he said that he could solve the war in 24 hours. It's been 8 months, and the war is worse off today than it was back in January of this year. And so no, he's not going to solve that war. And he admitted today that he probably can't. He said in a significant reversal that after meeting with President Zelensky at the United Nations General Assembly, that he fully backs Ukraine, NATO, and the European Union and believes that Ukraine could fully restore its pre-war borders by reclaiming all territory taken by Russia. He pointed to Russia's deep economic problems, NATO's continued military aid, and Ukraine's resilience as factors enabling such a victory. He has embraced Joe Biden's policy on Ukraine in a stunning shift. And while doing so, he admitted that his personal relationship with Vladimir Putin has not helped resolve the war in Ukraine, saying, quote, "Those ties mean nothing." And during the speech at the General Assembly, one of his biggest gripes was the fact that his teleprompter didn't work, but also that his escalator at the United Nations didn't work. He was attempting to go up the escalator with First Lady Melania Trump when they entered the United Nations building, and it just stopped. And well, now the White House is demanding an investigation into Escalator Gate. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt demanded a full United Nations investigation after the escalator abruptly stopped. United Nations officials say that the halt was caused accidentally by a safety mechanism, but the White House and, well, the President of the United States, they are furious. Before I continue, make sure to subscribe to support my work or send a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. Your support allows this reporting to continue. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has officially dissolved the Pentagon's longest-running Defense Advisory Committee on Women in the Services. It was founded in 1951, and the purpose of it was to shape key laws and regulations and policies for women in the military. Pete Hegseth accused this advisory committee of, quote, pushing a divisive feminist agenda that undermines combat readiness. Critics note that the committee's recommendations have historically shaped key laws for women in the military, while supporters of Hegseth point to its issue on issues like reproductive health care as evidence of politicization. Remember, one of the biggest gripes for Pete Hegseth opponents before he was confirmed was the fact that he said that women should not be in combat. In Massachusetts, a Massachusetts family alleges that ICE agents briefly held their 5-year-old autistic daughter outside of their Leominster home to pressure her father, Edward Hip Mejia, into surrendering during an immigration operation. Video shows the child surrounded by officers, but Department of Homeland Security officials strongly deny that claim, calling it a disgusting smear and accusing Mejia, a longtime U.S. resident from Guatemala with prior arrests, of abandoning his daughter while fleeing. The girl was later returned safely, and Mejia is now detained in ICE custody just 2 days after that incident. Meanwhile, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Next Star, and as well as Sinclair, neither will be showing Jimmy Kimmel's show. That's about 70 affiliate networks will not be showing Kimmel's show tonight, despite the fact that Disney has allowed Jimmy Kimmel back on air. And interestingly, after all of your cancellations, Disney has announced that starting on October 21st, prices will increase for Disney Plus with ads to $11.99, up $2. Disney Plus Premium up $3 to $18.99, with bundle prices also increasing across Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN plans. Interesting timing, given the mass cancellation of Disney Plus policies or Disney Plus essentially accounts in the past 24 to 48 hours. Elon Musk's father, Errol Musk, the 79-year-old father of Elon, has been accused in a new New York Times investigation of sexually abusing 5 of his children and stepchildren since the early 1990s, allegations that Errol Musk denies as false and nonsense. The report cites family members, personal correspondence, and past police inquiries detailing claims of misconduct dating all the way back to 1993, noting that multiple investigations were opened without charges and underscores Elon Musk's long-described estrangement from his father, whom he once characterized as capable of, quote, a carefully thought out plan of evil. September 30th, 1 week away, government shutdown is going to happen. And while Donald Trump was scheduled to meet with Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, and Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader, he's scheduled to meet with them. And well, now he's kind of backed out. He's backed out, saying that their funding demands completely unserious. And while that means, folks, we're barreling towards a government shutdown, and it's likely going to happen in just 1 week. There's a special election tonight in Arizona's 7th Congressional District, where Democrat Adelita Grijalva is heavily favored over Republican Daniel Gutierrez. Now, here's the thing. Here's why this is a big deal. Grijalva is going to win this race. Pretty confident about that. Her signature will be the 218th signature on a discharge petition needed to force the release of the Epstein files. This means that we could have 218 signatures forcing the vote as soon as October 7th or so. A Florida jury has found Ryan Wesley Ruth guilty on all counts of attempting to assassinate Donald Trump at his West Palm Beach golf course. The dramatic trial ended with Ruth trying to stab himself in the neck with a pen after the verdict, while prosecutors highlighted his written note admitting intent, and Trump hailed the conviction as a, quote, big moment for justice in America. And finally, Donald Trump has chosen his downtown Miami site as the future for his presidential library on land owned by the Miami-Dade College near, essentially, the Cuban Freedom Tower, the historic Freedom Tower. Folks, that's all the news right now. As always, make sure to support my work, and I'll see you in the morning. Hey, folks. Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.